What's up, GameLeap? It's Coach E's back again. Hope you're all ready for this. Don't know what that was, because I'm about to show each and every one of you how to win a game in 10 minutes in Challenger. Now, the details and techniques we're about to get into are so intricate and high elo that very few people use them, and most people don't even know about them. So if you want to win your games before they've even started, stick around for the next 10 minutes. And if you want more personalized help, guys, good news, because at GameLeap.com, we are giving one free coaching session away to a lucky annual member, and we have a 50% sale on these memberships at the moment. So head on over, type in the promo code SPRING, and you might be the one getting the EX treatment, rank 1 incoming. So click on one of the links in the description or comment section. All right, let's get into it, guys, and we're going to be watching Caps playing a bit of Silas here, and he dropped 17 kills in 15 minutes, and even by 7-8 minutes in this game, it is already over. But how does he do it? How does he pull this off? Because 99.9% of us wouldn't be able to do it. So the first tip so you can go out and do this is to know your matchups, because every lane you are in, guys, is going to be different. The enemy champion is different, of course, that's obvious. But so many players, and I was watching a Challenger player just yesterday do this, they play the same way no matter what enemy champion they are going up against. The easiest way for me to describe it to you is that playing against a Victor or Silas is different to playing against a Yasuo, and it's essential you understand how to play the first few levels in particular, and it would take me until Season 20 to talk about each and every one of them, but there are a couple of factors you have to take into account in every game. The first is your opponent's starting items, and the second is your opponent's summoner spells. So when your opponent takes TP, guys, this is the experienced summoner spell, and the idea is that you TP back to lane so you don't miss any minions or waves, and you are a permanent fixture on the map. So generally you accompany teleport with a playstyle that revolves around trading, so that if you do ever get too low to stay in lane, you can just TP back stronger because you're healthier with more items, and your opponent is kind of doomed unless they have TP as well. And in this lane we're watching, guys, Caps and Victor both have TP, and this is why Caps goes for this level 1 trade. And it's funny because it looks pretty sketch, right? Caps jumping onto the Victor in a creep wave, but this is the other factor to consider. Caps has a Dark Seal and a refillable potion, whereas Victor has a Doran's Ring and 2 health pots. So Caps is actually at a sustained disadvantage in this lane, meaning he won't recover as much health and mana from his items as Victor. So based on this, guys, there is one condition in this lane that will make it 10 times easier for Caps to play, and that's the push, or the minion advantage. And what's great when you go for trades like these inside the enemy minions is that they are not attacking your minions. And most of the time, this will result in you getting the push because your minions are attacking theirs, as Caps does in this early lane. So depending on the champion you're playing against, guys, think about their summoner spells and their starting items and how these will dictate the first few levels. Do you want to trade and TP back? Do you want to play safe until you can go for an all-in at level 3 of your Ignite? Formulating a plan based on the matchup is so valuable, so do it. Now, the next point I want to make here is using your flash like a challenger, because what's ironic here is that Caps uses his flash defensively, which actually ends up securing him in his jungler first blood. So there are 2 points I want to make here. When Caps goes in for this trade with Victor, a wild Graze appears, oh my god, and as soon as he throws out his smoke screen, Caps flashes away, right? And that's the first tip, to use your flash early, guys, almost preemptively, because what most players do, and even the best will fall victim to this, is they flash after they are already dead. And I've been there and done that plenty of times, and I'm sure everyone has. You know, we get hit by that Malphite ultimate and flash afterwards, rather than just flashing the unstoppable force to begin with. It's the same idea here. It's a lot safer to flash sooner rather than later, and what's also good about this is that you preserve as much HP as possible, meaning you can continue to lane, instead of having to recall because you flashed too late and got chunked. So when that threatening ability like a Graves W slow or Elite's Cocoon or Hecarim E is coming at you, flash early. And then we have the direction of Caps' flash, guys, because again, most players think their only area of safety is their turret, right? Most of the time this will be the case for sure, but in some situations like this, your main goal is to create as much space as possible from the enemy jungler, and you can do this by flashing directly away from that champion. So when Graves ganks from the north mid brush, Caps flashes towards the south mid brush, and yes, Uda is here to counter, but if he wasn't here, Caps is more than fine, and that's the point. And just a quick little question for you here and a tip at the end of it. When do you think it is prime time to land a skill shot? When do you think? Well, I've got an idea. How about when the enemy champion is CC'd? It would be impossible to miss them, right? Which is exactly what Caps does here. Uda stuns to Victor, Caps flashes his chains, and Victor dies. And it's also a good idea when you do have a teammate nearby, guys, who can provide that CC, especially if it's a point and click CC, to show a bit of patience and wait until that CC is applied. Lots of players get way too trigger happy and throw them out when they feel like it. Restrain yourselves. Now, one massive mistake players in lower levels of play make, guys, is simply an awareness problem, because I bet you some players would be too scared to fight the Graves right here. And it doesn't have to be this situation either. Generally speaking, if an enemy champion is higher HP, players are reluctant to go in. But here's the thing, when the enemy champion is not focusing you, you have nothing to worry about, unless you are legit 1 HP. So when Graves flashes onto Uda here, his intentions are clear. He's flashing after the Uda to try kill him. He doesn't even care about Caps, and that's the point here. And this means Caps can engage on the Graves knowing he is not the primary target, and ends up killing him and and getting red buff. So just because an enemy champion is nearby, guys, and is a bit stronger than you, doesn't mean you can't fight them. If they are busy using their skills and auto attacks and cooldowns and damage on someone else, this opens up an opportunity for you to retaliate. Now, you might think Cap staying and not TPing back to mid lane is troll right here, but this is why understanding the champion matchups is so important. Victor is not the strongest level 2 champion. You might take a little bit of burst damage, but then what? It's not like he's an Aurelia with Conqueror, and he doesn't have any summoners for the 1v1. And what else is on Caps' side here, guys? Look at these minions. It's like an army. So if Victor chooses to straight up fight Sylas, these minions legit count as another champion. They will do that much damage. Now, after he TPs, I want you to count his cooldowns. And this is one of the most important techniques in the game, especially when you're 1v1ing someone. So he arrives and Qs Caps, then throws out his death ray. Now, can someone tell me what other cooldowns Victor has? He doesn't have any, right? So the only damage he has left is auto attacks. And who cares about these? So who wants to tell me why this high elo mid laner decides to headbutt Caps with both of his skills on cooldown? Like, it looks so troll. But you will not take advantage of these mistakes, guys, if you're not counting your opponent's cooldowns. It's almost like you tick them off when you see them. So do this and your trading will be a lot more consistent and you will come out on top in every single one as Karma finishes off the victor here. Now, one tip we've covered in a lot of other videos, guys, is what you can see here. Caps' wave is shoved under the enemy tower, so he doesn't actually need to stay for another wave because this will slow push back to him. Very important. And even if Graves wasn't here, staying for this extra wave is terrible because it costs him tempo. In other words, time on the map. Because right now, Caps isn't in a position to do anything. He's low on resources, right? He's sitting on a lot of gold and has TP to make a play elsewhere. So recalling ASAP and getting back out on the map is far more important. So when your wave, guys, has crashed into the enemy tower after you've killed someone, find a safe spot to recall and get back out there. And don't forget about that 50% sale on our annual memberships. So get signed up via our links down below. And remember, you might be that lucky someone to get a bonus coaching session with me. Use the promo code SPRING and I could be all yours. Right, now this kill right here, guys, is pretty nuts from Caps and it looks way too risky to do what he's about to do. But did you guys count the cooldowns before I paused it? Let me rewind it again and play it. Ah, so Victor used his Q&E, right? Cheeky. Meaning that the only cooldowns Caps has to worry about is a potential Victor W and whatever Graves has, but Graves has no shells left after he autos this minion. So now he only has his abilities and Caps knows he can just W and heal whatever Graves has left. So this, guys, is the power of counting cooldowns. But there is another factor in this upcoming fight. The friendly Udyr is coming in hot, and if Caps can bait Victor and Graves to keep focusing him, they are in such an overextended position already without both their flashes, and they will for sure die. And did you guys notice how Caps used his E after Udyr stunned the Graves? So again, waiting for that teammate CC to land and using your own skills off that CC. So now Caps has a massive lead, but how does he continue to dominate this Victor? Well, he returns to lane with the wave in a great position. And whenever you see this in your games, guys, the wave is on your side of the lane, you know what you're going to do? Hard push? No, you're just going to last hit like Caps does. And what this does is it extends the lane for your opponent. Like, imagine if you were Victor here. I would just FF and go next at this point. It's that bad and you're so far behind already. And then you have to try to survive in this lane against a Sylas. And champions like Sylas who have gap closers, this might be an Aurelia, Fizz, Zed, this is the most dangerous situation because they can just run you down. And what happens? Well, Kelsey Caps ends up killing Victor again, and I could even say at just 5 minutes the game is over, which it is to be honest. So don't just run back to lane, guys, and aimlessly hit the CS. Just ask yourself, where would you want to play the lane? Or where does your opponent not want to play the lane because both answers are the same? So don't undo your good work by letting your opponent off the hook by just shoving wave after wave. And this is the last play we're going to watch here, guys, and analyze, and this is going to help you win the map, not just your lane. So when Cap shoves this wave after killing Victor, he is healthy enough and has enough of that blue bar to make a play elsewhere. And notice how he roams out of the enemy turret's vision here. So Victor might think he's recalling, or just missing, he doesn't know where specifically, which makes it 10 times more deadly. And instead of going bot lane, he decides to wait in the enemy jungle. And if you're playing mid in particular here, guys, if you can put the enemy jungler behind as well, it makes it so much easier because there's nothing more annoying than actually winning your lane and then all of a sudden running into a fed Hecarim or Graves. So Cap shows a bit of patience, knowing Graves will eventually come down and picks up another kill. And at this point, he is so far ahead that it is legit over. And he's going to kill Victor again for good measure. And look at this, level 4 against level 7. That very rarely happens in an elo as high as this, but it goes to show you that if you can apply the tips in this video, you give yourself a shot at pulling this off. So thanks so much for watching as always, guys, and if you're not already sub, smash that button and bell. And until tomorrow's video, this has been Coach J.